they had the opportunity, great opportunity to have some of my artwork here at the library today. Okie well, my passion is for making art dolls. And one-of-a-kind art dolls, I have two here. And I have a couple of in the showcase downstairs in the children's department and also on the wall over there. However, I do like mixed media artwork, and I've made the quilt in the back. A art studio here in Mount Vernon where we do workshops, and we invite people, invite teachers from all over the world, actually from Spain, Canada, Australia, to come and do classes at our workshop. They do art dolls, jewelry, painting, collage classes, and to me, I find it's something that's very rewarding, and it makes me feel as though I've accomplished something when I finish my artwork.
Earlier this year, Maureen Wilson of the Mount Vernon Art Council asked me to do an exhibit of the quilts being made at the Armory, the Pelham Quilt Club, the doll makers, the 3D Doll Club, and we were able to pull together some very wonderful quilts made by some very wonderful people. We did an exhibit, I guess that was in September, and it was in City Hall during that time, and then we were asked to bring that exhibit plus a few more over here to the library for the month of December and January. I've asked Doris to do her little piece, and she told you a little bit about her quilts. We have Donna here, who I consider my idol at this point. Yes, I do, because she makes quilts that are absolutely wonderful. I have two of her quilts here. I have another one that I'll pull out that she can explain a little bit, and I want her to talk about her quilts just a little bit, and then we'll have a couple other people come up and talk about their art.
I'm Donna Chambers. I live in Elmsford. I've been sewing since I was a little girl. My mother taught me how to sew, and I went and bought a machine, and I used to make clothes, and then I went on to study fashion design at Pratt. And I stopped after I graduated from college. I guess I sewed so much that I kind of like stopped. And that was like maybe in 1972. So I started sewing again maybe eight or 9 years ago. And I wanted to quilt, and so I learned how to quilt. And being that I'm an artist, I kind of like do just wall art pieces. And this is one of my pieces.
Fabulous.
Now it was funny, this piece, kind of like sometimes I pride myself in making things work. Like, if you've got a broken pipe, somehow you got to fix it. So this quilt, I took a class. It was a mariner's compass. And so a mariner's compass, north, south, east, west. And this was supposed to go all the way around. But the teacher gave us the wrong instructions. So it only went halfway around. So a lot of people ended up redoing it, taking it apart. I said, no, I got other road to travel. So I just had it hanging up, this one little piece. And I said, what am I going to do with that? And so I used it to make a headdress for a mask, because I couldn't go back and do the compass. So I like to be able to problem solve. So that was this one. And then this one, I don't know, I just, when we old girls grew up, like there was nothing black, nothing, everything was a white Santa, white this. So anytime I get a chance to do something with a black image, that's what I do. And I like color, and I like texture. So this was color and texture. And this was another one. We took a class, took this class again. And, you know, it was, you know, this consists of maybe 10 different fabrics. And I call it Coming to America.
I definitely get that.
So, you got that?
Yeah.
The land of milk and honey. So, you know, they're in New York City, and the cabs are going by, they're traveling up. The Statue of Liberty. Is the Statue of Liberty in there?
Yes.
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 And the Empire State Building, you know, to higher ground. So, you know.
She forgot to mention the moon.
Oh, and the moon is there. The moon tells its story too. So that's it.
Okay.
And first quick I made, I was 10 years old. I made it for my dad. And it was crib size. My mother took it from me and put it on the baby's crib. I said, okay, I'm gonna. So that one I made real small. Then I didn't cook in a long time. When I retired in 1997, I picked it up again. I went over to the army and we just made a few little things to wrap or to have some money. But now, my quilts are more traditional. I love to make quilts. Most of my quilts I give away. I give them to people who are in wheelchairs, people who are handicapped in some way and need some more. So I have this one, which goes on my wall, and that one for the springtime. This one is a small underground wall. And this one is tulip garden. There's also another one on the other side. And then on the other side is a goddess in, what's the name of it? Goddess in the garden. So that's what I do. I do.
A couple of years ago, you know, our family has been in Mount Vernon for a long time. My father started out as a real estate broker after his father, which is James, and this is one of his brothers. There's like 6 of them all together, including a girl. So when we started having a family reunion, we had to get the names together, we had to get a tree together. And I said, well, I know, this is going to be a cinch. I'll just take my embroidery machine and start writing the names out and everything. Well, it wasn't that easy. But it turned out to be a labor of love, really. And but it's totally different. It's very abstract, but I do have the names on, and there is a sequence. And they were born to slaves. What was it? Terry and Peter Bridges, and this is James, and this is his brother, Thomas. And like I said, they had a business and everything. So I started making the quilts to have their names and everything shown, just for the family reunion. Then I heard about this, and I said, well, maybe I'll just put it up. I said, well, nobody's really going to look at it much. I said, people from Mount Vernon who know the Bridges family, and they know about the real estate business and everything, they'll be the ones that'll be interested in it. And you said, oh yeah, so you know my father, maybe Lawrence Bridges, and his father started the real estate business first. So it's been here in Mount Vernon a total of maybe over 70 years. My brother still has it. And so it's back here if you want to come and see, whenever you get a chance. You don't have to come and see it now. And I'll just have the picture up against it. Say it.
I was just saying the business was in the building, in the Chase building over 100 years.
It's not quite that long. No. They came here in the late 1800s, my grandmother and my grandfather from the South. And then they had their children, and so we all grew up here in Mount Vernon, so we're not a stranger. But I was away for about 14 years. I'm back now. I'm very happy to be back. So many different changes, as everybody knows, have been going on in Mount Vernon, but my heart has always been here. And it's just a pleasure to be able to do this. In fact, I see one of my Girl Scout mothers there, Barbara, who's a genius, and she has some beautiful stuff that's up there. And everybody's been very supportive, very inspiring to me, and I appreciate that. So when you get here, they are. So this is James Bridges, who started out here in Mount Vernon with my grandmother, Annie Harvey Bridges, and Walter, that's his name. He had, I think he was a insurance broker, and another one was a plumber, and it goes on, and then there was a girl. I heard people call her Henrietta. I just thought her name was Henry, but I know now that it was Henrietta, and we found out that we have people in the Bronx, and in fact, the last reunion that we had, we've only had 3 that have been here so long. We had just this last August, and we just thank God that we did. I just think that pulling families together, is just so important to God. And the reason why I emphasize that is because one of the youngest ones, she was only 50-something years old, just died the other day. And she had not seen her great-grandmother, who came to the reunion for over 20 years. So that was a blessing, that this woman passed away, and yet we had all come together. We met in Mount Vernon, and then we went up to Playland. We had a lot of fun, came back, and we had a closing out service, a church service and everything. So it was very meaningful, and we're going to carry it on. And many of you might be very familiar, maybe even doing this even more so than we have. I know a lot of people say that they have been doing this over the years, and they say it's a snap, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal trying to get people together, but it is well worth it. And especially when things like that happen. Everybody who came to that funeral said, well, thank God we were able to get together and see one another, and we now know that we have an extended family from James and Walter and all of the others. So when you get a chance, you go around the corner in the back in the dark here, and you'll see.
Beginner, and so I try and take classes every now and then, and unfortunately, the one that I did when I took this class with Donna, I never finished, but I just love hers, and hers was almost finished the same day. I did something over the holiday, and this looks very simple.
Oh, the bowls.
The bowls, and what they are actually bowls that you can heat. You're using your microwave. You have to have 100% cotton, and that is 100% cotton. And then you put your soup bowl or whatever you're heating up in there. It's like a pot holder, and then when you go to pick it up, you don't have to worry about burning your hand, and it works pretty good. So I bought those because I made those for gifts for the holiday.